lot of talk.
Yo, folks. We're back. Flooded Talk. Still in quarantine. And, making the best of it, I suppose.
Quarantine questions.
Yeah. Quarantine.
If you live alone and you're quarantined alone, showering, how often?
Oh, that is the $100,000 question right there, boy. Anyways, my name is Steve. On the other side of the booth, we got Jay. And he's just chilling. We're both just chilling. Yeah. Trying to stay sane. But what can you do?
Still more or less keeping up grooming, more or less.
Oh yeah, like I shaved last week. I wasn't shaved, but this week, I was like, the hair.
I'll never not be shaved, because if I don't shave, if I do shave, I look like a giant baby. So I won't shave.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I when I was younger, I at least kept a mustache, and like as I got older, like I started looking at like pictures of myself with a mustache, and I was like, what the heck? Like at a certain point, I cut it off, and I don't remember why. It was some year. It was when I was still like maybe in my late 20s or early 30s, I started shaving like my entire face, including the mustache. And then as I looked back in time and I looked at what I looked like with a mustache, I was like, why did I ever wear a mustache? Like, I didn't think I looked good in it, but at the time I thought it was fine, but I don't know. The older I get, I guess it just looks bad.
Had just a mustache. Once I could get a beard, I was like, thank God, because like if I shaved right now, everybody would be like, when'd you get sick? Or they'd be like, that's a grotesque walking, talking infant. Those are the only two reactions. Like, when are you going to die?
I hear you.
Why is that baby so large?
Right. Yeah, they'd be like, oh my God, it's a giant baby. But hey, maybe when you get older, you'll be like, maybe I should start shaving. I look like an old man. Unless you want to look like an old man.
I don't know. See, because I don't think I look like an old man now. See, like, what is like, I also vaguely recall the one time in my life when my father shaved. I was like 4 or 3 or something. I vaguely recall because I didn't recognize him. It freaked me out, and he has not shaved since. And so I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to put my kid through it.
I understand. There is this certain thing that when you look a certain way, everybody kind of gets used to you looking that way, and when you change it up, it's like a big deal.
How odd would James Harden look today if you just cut it all off?
You know what? I want to know. I want him to shave because I want to see that look.
His face is gonna be mad, small, and shriveled compared to his. It's not gonna look right. You're gonna want him to put like a lace front on his face immediately.
Yeah, probably. But still, I want to see it. I want to see it. But in any event,
man.
Speaking of age,
that was down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know, right? Speaking of age, we got some Game of Thrones news. Game of Thrones. This is from the express.co.uk. Game of Thrones movie. Will there be a GOT film? George R.R. Martin drops massive hint. So, in this article here, Martin talks about how, that he is currently writing the book. Like he's still locked in his house in the mountains, self-quarantining. Yeah. Writing.
He has his good days. He has his bad days.
Yes. Right.
He has his hills to climb. I swear, he's writing gospel songs now at this point.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, he's still doing that, but he also has time to, I guess, think about the fact that there could be a Game of Thrones movie.
She look at them checks. He said, "Oh, all right." Because at first he was all nervous about the show. Then he got them checks. He's like, "Yo, when the movie coming, son?"
You're right.
What it do, baby?
Yeah. So he says, let's see. In a recent post on his Not a Blog website, Martin confirmed his current work is focusing on writing The Winds of Winter. I'm still up in the mountains doing the thing. He says, while discussing this, he also suggested there could be another huge project in the works, a Game of Thrones film. And he continues, Hollywood has largely closed down as well, at least as far as actual production is concerned. If the pandemic goes on long enough, I wonder if the pipeline will go dry and we all will start to run out of films and television shows. That would be terrible, by the way. If so, sheltering in place is going to get an order of magnitude harder. Let's see. Television right now is doing a lot to keep us sane. Say it again.
I don't think we can really run out. People just have to go back and watch things they didn't watch.
Oh my
yet.
God! Like stuff that like aired in like the 90s. Like,
possibly, like I haven't watched Westworld. White people would discover living single. You know?
Yeah, right. Oh man, that might be good for the world. Anyways, he says, but while nothing is being filmed right now, development is continuing apace since writers can still write at home. The only thing I am writing myself is Winds of Winter. He says, I guess he had to make that point so that people wouldn't get up in arms. As I've said many times, with my producer hat on, I am still involved in a number of exciting new shows for HBO and a few film projects as well, Jay. He's working on TV and films as we speak, or at least not working on them, but I guess he has them in his mind space.
And he's got a shovel in his hand as we speak. It's not a pen.
Well,
he's just digging his graves and is gonna line his coffin with his unfinished manuscripts.
Yeah, well, let's hope he gets this book done. I mean, I was hopeful that we might be able to see it this year, but probably not. I mean, if he's still writing it, I doubt it's going to be published this year. Probably 2021 at the earliest. But hey, George, finish the book, then so we can read it, and then you can like work on some other stuff. But dang, when did
I finish this book and then finish the ones that come after it? How about that?
It's only one more. Dream of Spring, I think is what it's called. Yeah. So
finish this book and then finish the one that come after it. Hurry up! Ain't nothing else, Doug.
Listen,
hurry up!
I don't think he's gonna finish the last book. I don't think that's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive that's not gonna happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
He's no Robert Jordan. He's not gonna have an heir.
No, and he's at an age, where you would start to consider him.
He's at an age where he better be taking this quarantine seriously. Damn it!
I mean, he's in his late 70s, so I mean, you know,
exactly.
People do live into their 80s, but the other thing is that he's overweight. Like his.
I mean, if someone sneezes within a quarter mile radius of him, he's gonna die. At this point,
yeah, his physical condition is such that that coupled with his age could take him out before he's 80.
And he just travels with a ventilator.
Yeah. So, come on, George, finish the book. And I'm a little bit lenient. He can if he finishes, because I believe that he's not going to finish the last book. If he wants to like help get some TV shows off the ground and a movie off the ground,
nah, he keep writing until he died, Doug. It's been way too long. Hurry up.
You're not gonna get the last book, Jay.
I don't care. Just keep writing.
All right.
I'm not asking you for like nothing else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm not asking you to put it out, but just keep writing.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
Yeah. Although I am excited to see the House of Dragons when that comes out.
I was in my late 20s when I first started reading this.
Yeah, I mean he wrote the first book in the 90s, so
I know, but what I'm saying is I found out about it in my late 20s, which is a good while after he wrote it, and I'm like, yo, this is great. What the fuck? I'm like, oh, yo, late 30s is creeping up on me, and I still ain't got to the end of this shit yet. Yeah. Yo, Doug, come on.
Right.
Come on, son.
Right. Well, I hope he lives long enough for you to complete the series. In any event, we're gonna keep it rolling with some politics news, and man, this one, yeah. So here we go. Advisors warn Trump his push to reopen economy carries political risk. So as we know, Donald Trump has laid out this plan for how states can reopen, and then in the intervening time since he did that, there has been protests by, quite frankly, some dumb people, I'm gonna say, who are upset about the shelter-in-place rules that a lot of these states have have put in place. So these governors are trying to be responsible and trying to keep their citizens safe, and they're getting protests for people that want to get back out there and run their businesses and shop and go to the beach and go to the parks. And
okay.
So Donald Trump took to Twitter and said, yeah, in certain states, like, liberate this state, like, okay, which when you think about it is kind of provocative in itself, because liberate, when you call for liberation like that, it's usually you're thinking about like armed liberation, but yeah. But in any event, so Donald Trump is walking a fine political line. This is NBC News, by the way. In his push to reopen the economy, with advisors warning him there is a significant risk to his re-election bid in moving too quickly, while his base of supporters grows impatient with the economic shutdown over the coronavirus crisis. So Trump sought to show the country that we had turned a corner this week, unveiling guidelines on how states can bring businesses back online during a press briefing. Interestingly enough, as a side note, I was watching our governor's press conference, and he was saying our cases are going up, so we're not in any way close to opening up anything. Anyways, so Donald Trump is saying that states where they don't have a lot of cases should be able to open up. But I mean, if you don't have a lot of cases and you've got a shut-in order, and you all of a sudden open up your economy again, and people actually get out there.
No. You got to be actually real about this. First of all, they said Donald Trump is walking a total tightrope. No, he's not. First of all, the people protesting.
It's his
what they're really protesting is the fact they're looking at it. They're saying, "Oh, wait a minute! It looks like white people aren't dying. So let's open it back up."
Well, those people are dumb because
y'all.
That's still dumb.
No. Understand. You are attempting to apply logic to racism in a second. Let that sink in, because racism is not logical, but you're going to attempt to apply logic to it.
Yeah, of course.
So there you go. All I'm saying is foundation. So my point is, they say, "Oh, this doesn't affect us." What they're thinking. Let's go back to work. More of them will die, and we'll be okay. This is what's going through their minds. And these are because they're the same people who are waving the Confederate flags while they're out at these rallies, and talking about liberating the states and whatnot, And let's be real, if these people were really about states' rights, which they claim, then they wouldn't have a massive movement to secede a county in Virginia to go to West Virginia because the state right says, well, the state said this. So are they now saying it's all about county rights? So, I mean, they're saying these are all the same people. So, no, it's not a political tightrope. He's jumped off the deep end, well into that cesspool. He's no longer walking a tightrope. Never was walking a tightrope. And what these people are actually protesting for, what they're saying is, yes, this is killing the brown people. So let's all go back to work and kill more brown people. And we keep making money. That's what they're thinking.
Well, sure. That is a take. That is a take for sure of the people that are protesting. But
why else would you fly the Confederate flag?
Oh yeah, no. Hey, I got you. I'm just saying. And well, hey, first of all, I want to say that these are essentially Donald Trump supporters that are doing
exactly.
This. So I understand what it's kind of goes without saying what motivates a large portion, probably the majority.
No. And that is the problem, because it always goes without saying when they up to the fuck shit. It always goes without saying, oh, we know, nah, fuck that. No. That's why we have to keep saying it.
Sure. I only say that because that's like everyone and their mother talks about Donald Trump and his racism, which is obviously on display, and the racism that animates his supporters. So basically what I was going for basically what I brought out on this article was the political aspect from the president's point of view, because the aside from this article was the protests by his supporters. The point that I wanted to bring out in this article is the bad political actions of the president in relation to the coronavirus. So, like, the motivations for Donald Trump aside, the personal motivations of Donald Trump aside, the one thing that we do have going on right now is a presidential election. So he's gonna be on the ballot, and people are gonna be voting on whether he's gonna be the president or not. Unfortunately, it's just between him and Joe Biden. One of these two guys is gonna be the president in 2020. So his advisors looking at Donald, the advisors that are working with Donald Trump are looking at his actions and saying, hey, if you move too quickly, you're going to risk your re-election. And then further on in the article, it says if you his thing is if he moves too slow, he's gonna lose his support. If he moves too slow to open back up the economy, he's gonna lose his support. His advisors are saying that that's what he should do. The other thing that Donald Trump is doing is he's trying to say, okay, the governors should be the ones that decide what they do in each state, and his advisors are saying, well, you don't want to push it off on the governors because then you look like a weak president. So
well, here's the thing though, he has no authority to open or close the economy. Him saying that it's up to the governors is actually correct. He says he's giving the governors permission, but he didn't give them anything. That was their power to begin with. He didn't cede anything to them. He never had control over them. In fact, the governors can't even open up. The governors can't go to, a store and say open up because we have a thing called private enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. They can't. The governor, governors and the president can't force people to open back up, nor can they, we talked about this last week, nor can they force people to go out and shop. But with that being said, it is funny that in a press conference earlier, like I think it was last week, when reporters were asking him about, okay, if you open up, if you say that the economy opens up and governors say, no, we're not opening up, what are you going to do? And he was like, well, the president has total authority on whether or not, to open or shut the economy. And I don't think that the governors will go against me. But if they do, I do have total authority, and we'll see what we can do. But, so he did go on this tirade about the president having total authority over the country in this aspect. And his advisors are kind of saying, okay, you definitely want to lean into that and not say, well, I'll let the governors handle it, because then I guess in the public's eye, it makes him look weak. So essentially what's happening here, which I think is utterly, asinine. And it's just that in the middle of, and really what annoys me about the government right now is how much there is political calculation in the face of what is essentially, a health emergency that's worldwide. And you know what I really wonder? I know we're not going to get any change in these politicians. Like, these politicians are going to be who they're going to be. But what I want to know is, when is there going to be some type of popular uprising? Because this is a situation where I think that if these politicians continue to be as callous as they are as far as human life is concerned, then I think there's going to be some sort of uprising, or there should be, anyways.
That will only happen when 53% of white women are down for it. And I'm not being funny or anything like that, but that's when something like that will happen.
Yeah, let me tell you what. Obviously, based on the way society is constructed, the people that are going to get hit first are the people that are in jobs that make it easy for those transmission to happen. But over time, that virus does not care whether you're black or white. It's like, if it's got an opportunity to jump to you from somebody, then it will. Yes. And eventually,
we all know this logically.
Forget about what people feel. Okay, what people feel is irrelevant, because eventually, if you don't take measures, then everybody's getting affected. Anybody who thinks that this virus does not affect does not affect white people is dumb. And
racists are dumb.
Yes, I got you. But there are racists that understand that this virus does not just affect black people. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that there are racist people that believe that.
Okay, all right, fine. So not all racists believe that, but everyone who believes that is a racist.
That it only affects black people? Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd go with that. But I mean, those people would be the ones that would be the first infected after black and brown folks. So you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, those would be the next.
Here's my thing to do with them. Here's my thing. They don't care about it. They all willy-nilly about it. Let's start the vaccination testing on them right now. Speed up the process.
Wait, say that again?
Since they don't care about the virus, they don't think it affects them, let's start the vaccination testing process right now on them.
Oh.
Skip all the other measures, just right now.
The
today.
Human trials? Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, all that right now on them. Right now. Start today.
Like, here, let me give you this virus and see.
Round them up. You know what I mean? Go Tuskegee they asses.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
They volunteered, goddammit. Yeah, every one of y'all protesting out there, y'all volunteered. They out there protesting. At one point, they blocked the hospital for like 20 minutes so ambulance couldn't get in the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
People legitimately died because of these stupid ass protests.
Yeah. But yes, that's very true. So, but anyways, this article kind of like it just annoyed me because I realized that right now we're in a situation where there's no, like, I don't know, we're kind of in a catch-22 here, and I don't see any safe way out of it, so to speak. So, you know, I've been saying for a while that I think this and you and me both, we've both said this, like you've said, there's gonna be a new normal. You know what I mean? Like after this is over, or even right now, like we're in a new normal. Like there is a pre-coronavirus world. That world is gone. That world is gone. We're not gonna see it again. It's over.
I was explaining to my son, or I was talking to my son. I was telling him, when you have kids, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I remember before the virus hit." You know what I'm saying? It was like we was like 37 kids deep in the ball pen.
Yeah. It was.
Now y'all don't even got ball pens no more because they won't have that for like that no more. Too much transmission in the ball pen.
Right. I think a small example of like how stuff can change and you have a pre and a post was 9/11. Like the United States was a different place prior to September 11, 2001.
Bruh. The first time I did international travel, right, was just right before 9/11. See what I'm saying? So, well, like it was so wild. When we touched down in Europe, first time ever, I'm seeing like security walking around with F-16s. I'm like, whoa, goddamn, way to greet a nigga on the plane, damn. Yeah. And then I stuck so much contraband back in. It was a long time ago now. It was pre-9/11, so I don't think y'all care no more. But like, I'm coming back in the country. I had all types of meats and cheeses that I wasn't supposed to have. I snuck a sword through customs.
That ain't happening now.
Bruh, I wish I would now. An actual sword.
Yeah, they'd be like, they would have you in the back room.
Whoa.
But yeah, so there was I
remember when I bought the sword, like, you know what? I'm confident I can sneak this back in the country. Like, I ain't gonna get caught. And even if I did, it was gonna happen.
Yeah, no. No, those days are long gone. And that's minor, I think, compared to what we're gonna get post coronavirus. Yeah. But in any event, I do believe that Donald Trump's re-election is tied to what happens with this virus to some degree. So we'll see. His advisors want him to be a little bit more slow and strong as a leader. He kind of wants to be fast and weak, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I will bet money that whatever decision's made, it's gonna be the wrong one.
Of course. My whole thing is, Trump for a long time kept saying to black people, "Vote for me. What do you got to lose? Motherfucker, everything, apparently, because we died."
Yeah.
He was asking, I'm just saying, he was asking that for a long time. Like, he's still been asking that. Well, I got the answer. We see it today. We got life to lose. The whole thing.
That's right. That was his pitch to Black America in 2016.
Yes,
what do you got to lose?
I want him to know we got the actual answer. Life. That's what we had to lose.
People, what do you have to lose? Vote for me.
All of this, I have it all to lose.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's our politics news. So we're coming up on our music break, and so I got a new song, and wouldn't you know, I forgot what it was. Oh no, I do. I got it right here. It's called Yin Yang Stories. It's by a artist called Rural Keefe. Yeah, Royal Keith. So it's kind of like a play on words of coral reef. So Royal Keith. This is kind of a chill beat. I figured after all these weeks cooped up that we could use a little bit more of a chill type beat to listen to for our break here. So let me go ahead and get that queued up, and we will see you on the other side of the break, folks. Oh, there we go.
Get together, Grouch.
There we go. Cool. Got it. Although that's weird. Why did it... I don't know. Anyways, okay, so we're back. And we've got some more news to go over. This one I've actually I've talked about a bunch of friends. I think I've even talked about this type of stuff with you, but definitely with some other friends of mine where we talk about sports a lot. But you know, the coronavirus is still affecting things. So here's this: if colleges cut sports programs, could new models emerge?
Like, dude, I'm like, this could be a really good thing. I could see different types of things happening. Like, I could see like the old like Tobacco Road type schools, the traditional ACC schools, like forming like a league for lacrosse, because that's not like a national sport. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it could be like more of a regional thing. I don't know. You know, what gets played on the West Coast doesn't get played all over the place.
Oh, probably not anything that I can think of. I know over here it's lacrosse, unless...
Yeah, over here's lacrosse is a regional sport. I don't know, water polo. That seems like a West Coast sport. You know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe.
I don't know. I figure you're from there. Like,
yeah, but I don't... First of all, I'm not even a big college sports fan.
I just said, but I'm talking about sports, period.
Yeah,
like,
water polo is not anything I noticed ever being...
I'm not. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just picking something. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you would never lived on the East Coast, you would not know about lacrosse.
Oh no, no. Because when I first moved here, I was like, "What the heck is lacrosse?"
All right, exactly. So my point is, you got some activity out there that's probably like that. There's some regional thing. I don't know what it is.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe they play Aussie rules football over there. I don't know. I've only seen that on the Ocho. Okay, I'm just saying it could be something. But you know, I can see like a lot more like regional stuff. Like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this article does talk a little bit about this, but the one thing that it does point out is that colleges are losing millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars actually on not being able to run their pro sports run their collegiate sports programs.
Are those kids getting to go to virtual school? If they are, they're like, ha, getting my education for free now, for real.
Yeah, I mean, I know there are colleges that are doing online classes, but you know, there's no sports happening, so
that's what I'm saying. But my question legitimately is, do they get to partake in them if their sport is canceled?
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine that the school still wants these kids to, you know, maintain their grades for when they are able to come back. I guess that.
College scholarships, they don't give out 4-year scholarships any longer.
Yeah, it's like year to year, right?
It's year to year. So then what happens to these kids for like next?
Yeah, they're done. It's like if listen, if they're not able to like start up college sports in the fall, then they're probably not giving out scholarships.
It's over for these kids.
Yeah.
They thought they had the 4-year full ride. Nah, homie, it's a year to year and it's over for you because your sport's over.
Exactly. So the article is interesting. It starts out talking about how all these schools are losing money due to cancellation. NCAA men's basketball, the cancellation of the NCAA men's basketball tournament cost schools $375 million, and more losses are expected, especially if football season is disrupted in the fall. So observers see the coming crisis as a chance for schools to consider radical changes to how athletic departments are run, for new development paths to emerge for young athletes. This one guy named David Ridpath, I actually condone a good portion of what he wrote about in a book. He says that this guy fears that that universities will use this economic crisis as an excuse to make program cuts they had already been pondering. He also wonders if fewer opportunities for athletes in non-revenue college sports provides a catalyst to sever some of the ties between amateur athletics and higher education in the United States. In his book, Alternative Models of Sports Development in America, Ridpath makes the case that the U.S., and I agree with this, should move toward a European-style academy system. Elite young athletes develop their games and receive an education, but the two are not tethered the way they are in American colleges. He says, my argument has always been schools should not be a primary source of elite development. We need to have other models for those elite athletes to be taken care of. So for me, it's not throwing college athletics and high school athletics out the window. It's reframing it and also making education-based sports more participatory. So essentially what he's saying is, hey, schools should not be where you get the pro skills. You should have a separate system that if kids want to develop their pro athletic abilities, they go that route. And if you're in high school and college, the sports there are participatory sports and not.
That's been proposed or been the idea floating in the ether for a long time in sports around here. Like they've been floating those types of ideas since at least the early 2000s, especially when you started getting the influx of European players in the NBA.
Yeah.
And with the NBA having the one and done rule, because the one and done rule is getting blamed on the NCAA a lot, but that's not an NCAA rule; it's an NBA rule.
Right.
And so that's been a discussion since Kevin Garnett got drafted.
Right.
That's when that conversation was started bubbling up to the.
Yeah, and essentially what I think the problem here, like when I think with those situations, the idea was, look, hey, you're killing the college game because these pros are getting out early, or they're not even going to college there.
Right, and then the other part of it was and a lot of these guys are failing, and then they can't do anything.
Right.
Because I forget there was an African guy, I can't think of his name, but he was drafted right out of high school, same year as Garnett. And he never got off the bench, and his career was over after his rookie contract.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and my thing is I don't want that even to be in the discussion of college at all. Like if we're talking about sports, Len, and we're talking about spectator sports where money is made. Like those spectator sports need to not be connected to schools. Like that's just
no doubt. The schools are trying to hang on to it just because of that much revenue, but yeah.
And it's
especially how crazy it is. I know most of these kids don't realize, they can't realize it. So you as a black man / boy playing football for the Ole Miss Running Rebels. Let that stick in. Ole Miss Running Rebel. The Ole Miss mascot is a Confederate soldier.
Yeah.
That's the only time them white folks gonna be cheering for you, nigga. And the other time they gonna be yelling at you like that is when I get the rope.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean? That juxtapose, you know what I mean? Uh, you know, 50 some odd young black dudes running around under the running rebel banner.
I feel you, man. That's part of it, man. There's like a whole slew of issues.
Right, and I'm just gonna say, and that's the ones that's like out in the open.
Yeah, exactly. But
because then you got the hostility ones like Georgetown. Like the whole reason they stayed afloat is because they sold 170 slaves downriver.
Yeah, man. Yeah, history's history has got some stains. But
and then, you know, and they put HBUs out of business by poaching all their players. So
yeah.
So you keep looking at it. That's why they shouldn't be attached to schools at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's highly exploitative.
Yes.
Of students, and you know, it hurts, and what I mean, and it's exploitative of the student athletes, and it is unfair to non-athletic students as far as like how much it costs to go to school, because the tuitions of these public colleges are high because of these sports programs, and because of how much money it takes to have these, you know, pro level facilities in colleges so that they could do this money making sport. And I think like, you should have.
Did you see the tour like a couple years ago? They did of Clemson's new practice facility.
Yo, man, it's obscene. It's a college.
Bro, they had actual sliding boards. Like really. And they were so proud because they made sure they engineered it so, you know, the 330 pounders wouldn't break it.
Yeah. I mean, it's obscene. I mean, these are places of learning. These are where people should be getting the skills to, you know, or, well, they should be learning. They should be expanding their knowledge. This is what these colleges are for. And they're turning it into a money-making machine.
For everybody but the people making the money.
Exactly. You know, so... so I think I'm totally with this guy. I think we should have a system where if you want to be a pro athlete, you know, I mean, like, you know, when you have, like, kids have outside of school stuff when they're young, you know, like Pop Warner and all that stuff's not linked to schools. It's like all of a sudden when you get to like late middle school and high school and college, now it's got to be linked to freaking school. Like, no.
Mostly just high school.
Yeah, high school and college. Just keep that stuff separate. If they can go to school, and then when they're out of school, they can go do their practices.
I mean, we damn near got it right now. They just don't teach them anything. But with basketball, at least AAU.
Yeah, right. So we need to robustly revamp that stuff to make it an actual.
AAU needs to be revamped as well. Like AAU needs to be like revamped to like actually teaching the game and not just having like players play 6 games over 2 days.
Right. Exactly. That is exactly correct. Yes. Because we have the infrastructure to be able to do it for all of our main sports programs, so we should be using it and leave the schools out of it. And maybe that's something we start moving towards that as a result of, you know, what we're all going through right now. That would be a good thing to happen, I would say, if that's the direction we move to. As far as youth sports go.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, this is that debate that's been percolating for like 25 years now. I'm with it. Like, so it's finally making actual noise. It's been just percolating for 25 years. Now it's finally making some noise.
Due to the coronavirus.
Right, due to the Rona.
Due to the Rona.
Rona, man, changes everything, man. Rona just changed perspective on life. That's all.
Yeah, exactly, man. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it moving. Okay, Florida man is the bomb. Let me just say that. Here we go. Florida man accused of shooting duck with a bow and arrow. Oh man, you cannot make this stuff up. I tell you. So it says the subheading is man asked stranger if it was illegal to shoot ducks, police say. So a man was arrested on charges of animal cruelty. This article is on Click Orlando. Officers responded Sunday to a small body of water along Mango Tree Lane, where a witness said they saw a man shoot a Muscovy duck with a compound bow and arrow, according to an arrest report. First of all, well, let me just continue. The witness said he attempted to help the injured duck, but was unsuccessful. I wonder what that help looked like. Anyway.
If you shot it, why are you trying to help?
No. The witness tried to help. The person who saw the guy shoot the duck went over to try and help the duck.
Okay.
I mean, the duck just got hit with an arrow.
With an arrow, yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Doug? Like, I'm trying to help. Sharpen my knife. And like, hey, I mean,
yeah. I'm trying to help, finish it off so we can have it for dinner.
You know what I'm saying? By the time police get there, be like, well, I mean, I got the evidence in the oven. Be ready in about 45 minutes.
Yeah. So officers located 23-year-old Walter Reeves nearby and said he only had one arrow left in his bow when he asked a passerby if it was illegal to shoot a duck. Investigators said after the stranger told him it was not illegal to shoot a duck, Reeves shot an arrow, striking and injuring the duck. Could you imagine that scene? Some dude walks up to you with a freaking bow and arrow.
I understand. No, I understand exactly what the stranger was saying. The stranger was like, yeah, I'm gonna tell this nigga nah just to see what he do. Just to see what happened. And he told him no, and he turned into straight Lord of the Rings on him and said, whoosh, swap. He gave it at the Sean Watson touchdown celebration. And all of a sudden the bird fell at the sky. And that stranger was like, oh shit, he got real with it. And then the stranger walked away then because the stranger like, this ain't none of my business.
Actually, what I want to know is if the stranger is the witness that then tried to help the duck, because that's not very clear here.
Nah, I'm telling you it's not. Because at that point, the stranger walked away. The stranger's like, nah, that wasn't none of my business.
Was like, I'm out.
Nope. And then what happened was when they caught Slim with the bow and the arrow, one arrow left, he told them the story. And the person that actually seen the bird fall to the sky was like, I did see him talking to somebody too, right down on Mango Tree Lane. Couldn't talk like that around there.
Or maybe the stranger said it was not illegal to shoot a duck just so that it would give him time to get away from dude while he turned and shot a bow and arrow at the duck. Nah,
that ain't even it. He told them it's not illegal because he was like, I want to see what this motherfucker gonna do. It's not illegal. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker turned into Legolas and said,
could you imagine though if some dude walked up to you with a bow and arrow in his hand, like, is it illegal to shoot a duck?
First of all, no, when a nigga walk up on me with a bow and arrow, before you even get close to ask questions, I'm backing up like, where the fuck did you find that, bro? Did you just rob Bass Pro Shops? Like, what is really going on? I've never seen this before.
Wow.
And then he gonna yell at me, you think it's illegal? And I'll be like, it probably is. I want to see what he do. Nah, it ain't illegal. Go ahead, player.
Like, cool.
Hey, good. I tell you,
yeah. So anyways, the witness was unsuccessful in helping the duck, but the injured duck was located by an officer and taken to the Marine Discovery Center for treatment and care, according to an arrest report. Records show Reeves is being held at the Volusia County Jail without bond.
Nah, real shit. Why he can't get no bond, yo? He just shot a duck.
I know. Like, what? Without bond.
Cause they took Dylan Roof to Burger King, and this man can't come home for shooting a duck. He was trying to eat.
That's what
literally.
I'm saying. Maybe he was homeless and he needed some food.
Homeless with a hole or not, he was trying to eat. He asked. I'm not saying it was the best of plans, but you knew why he was doing it. He should be able to go home.
Wait, here's the other thing too. So he was charged with animal cruelty, which is a misdemeanor in Florida.
So why he can't get no bail?
You know what it is? It's probably one of those
Florida.
things where he has to wait to see the commissioner.
And then he black in Florida.
That's true too. They're probably just like, you're gonna stay in jail until your misdemeanor trial. And then in the course of being in jail, you'll probably do something that we're gonna get you on a felony. So
they were like, nah, because in Florida they would have to let him out when they would have to give him back his bow and his one arrow because it's Florida and they don't want to arm another nigga. Like, yo, he only got one arrow. All you gonna do is shoot one more duck.
Just another duck, man.
You know what I'm saying? He don't give a duck. I don't give a duck.
But that was hilarious. I just imagined like standing in a park somewhere and some dude just I just see some dudes walking up to me with a bow and arrow. I'd be like, yo,
I already know how it is. It's in Florida, right? This is what will happen, right? So you out there, like, and you in Florida, so either your kids is playing in the park or your dog is running around, right? You got a picture of your dog running around, right? And a nigga walk up, right? He gonna have nappy dreads, no shirt.
That's essentially the picture.
and a couple of like blocky, like jail tattoo type tattoos on him, right?
Yeah.
And he gonna be, yo, you think it's cool to shoot a pigeon out here with a bow and arrow? And you gonna be like, oh, whoa, chill, because you walked up. So you gonna be like, yo, arms left, son, back up. But yeah, I think it's cool. I don't think nobody would bother you because you want to see what he gonna do. And I'm telling you, he gonna drop the one knee and he'll be like, and let it fly.
Actually, I'd have my phone out recording that mess.
Yeah, it happened so quick you wouldn't be able to get out.
Oh, I'd be like, God damn it! Oh no!
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. I mean, I see similar type stuff. Like, all right, like, because one time, right, I was at 7-Eleven. That's on Garrison, right? It's on like Garrison and Wabash around there, right? It's 7-Eleven. It changed. It's Obama Mart now, right? But I was down there, right? You probably know about it, Obama Mart, right? It got hella pictures inside with people that's not allowed in there because but there's so many pictures, you ain't gonna recognize none of them. But anyway, so yeah. And like, the Fiend came outside. He was real high, but he had brand spanking new fishing gear and pots and pans. Then I'm like, yo, how did you get brand spanking new fishing gear and pots and pans like at the same spot? Yo, wow, who you just robbed? But anyway, but I told him I didn't want pans or the fishing gear, right? He walks away. Another Fiend came over. They started arguing. They was really high, talking about like drooling type high. But then the Fiend with the fishing gear and the pots and pans turned into a ninja, and he roundhouse kicked the other one in the head like he knew it. Like, what's wrong? Wow! And I was like, yo. That was shocking. I'm just saying. Every now and then you see hood ninjas, and this guy's just a hood ninja. I'm telling you.
Oh man, that's a story, dude. And you didn't have your phone out, did you?
It happened so quick. I'm like, yo.
That would have been viral.
Oh well, I couldn't get it out in time. But I tell you, this ghetto ninjas. Every now and then you see some ghetto ninja stuff.
Yeah, but Florida man, he's out there doing his thing, you know, keeping us all entertained.
Hey, he in Florida, he was probably on bath salts. If it was here, it'd be a heroin and the cocaine at the same time. It'd the uppers and the downs at the same time. They'd be
shot a duck with a bow and arrow. I mean, he had to like literally somewhere pick up a bow, like actually before even picking it up, like, I'm gonna go shoot a duck with a bow and arrow.
No. You got it all wrong. You don't understand.
Oh, he just had the bow and arrow and it was impromptu.
So first of all, he stole the bow and arrow out of somebody's backyard.
Okay,
shack.
There we go.
Okay. All right. And he only had some short. He had like some capris on, right? They was raggedy though. It was raggedy. And some real dirty New Balances. I just got the feeling. I painted a picture in my head. There's some real dirty New Balances on. It was leaning. Right. And so he came out and he's all bouncing. He was sweating. He was like, oh, yeah. And see, he had just got high, so he knew I need to eat some. And he looked down and said, oh, shit. They try to figure out how it works and stuff, right? And then he bounced over there to somebody like, "Hey, yo, it's scary, it's scary. You think it's illegal to shoot some ducks over here?" And Yo was like, whoever it was like, "Nah, buddy, I don't think it's illegal. Go on right here." Because he's like, "I want to see what the fuck's gonna happen here." And I'm trying to tell you, he's zeroed in. He said, "Yeah, I mean, the bath salt's like, it's like." And next thing you know, I see feathers and everything. And he was gonna go get it, and he couldn't find it. I guarantee you, when it fell out the sky, he couldn't find it no more.
Probably couldn't.
He was mad as the whole too. He's probably walking around with that one goddamn arrow. You're like, "I want that," all jittery and shit.
Yep. Well, hey, Florida man, congratulations. You have done it again, and we're all proud of you. But the funny music says that we're all done. That's it for the show. We're going to stay closed up in our homes again for another week. And contemplating life and what the world's going to be like after this is all said and done. And probably Mad Max is what I'm thinking, wasteland, jury-rigged cars with spikes on them and stuff. That's what I think. Anyways, with that being said, hey, thanks for listening to us and watching us. Twitch every Monday, 9:30-ish. 9:30-ish.
So never late.
Yeah, exactly. Archives on YouTube. Audio on any podcast platform you can think of. Jay, you got any last words for the people before we get out of here?
If not showers, then how much deodorant, single people? Are you saving money?
Deep questions require deep answers that we don't have time to get into right now. So that's all we got for you, folks. See ya.
Talk is a 2 Cent Planet production. Go to 2centplanet.com for other shows and articles.